begins on December 22nd, when a suburban family gathers to celebrate Christmas. Tom and Sarah host the holiday at their home with their kids, Beth and Max. Joining them are Sarah's sister Linda, her husband Howard, their kids Stevie, Jordan, Howie Jr., and their baby, along with Sarah and Linda's blunt Aunt Dorothy and Tom's Austrian mother, Omi. Max hopes for a warm, traditional Christmas, but family bickering quickly ruins the festive mood. The chaos hits a peak when Stevie mocks Max by reading his heartfelt Christmas letter aloud, causing Max to lose his temper and lash out at her. The argument escalates, and in his frustration, Max shouts that he hates Christmas and storms off to his room. Tom later tries to console Max, reminding him that family, even when flawed, is what the season is all about. However, Max's anger lingers. Alone in his room, he rips up his Santa letter in a fit of rage and tosses the shredded pieces out the window. As the scraps drift into the night sky, an ominous storm cloud looms over the neighborhood, cutting off the town's electricity and signaling that something sinister is about to unfold. On the morning of December 23rd, Linda answers the door to a DHL delivery man and signs for a package. While outside, she notices a mysterious bag of presents left on the porch and brings it inside with the other deliveries. Meanwhile, Beth grows worried after not hearing from her boyfriend and decides to check on him, despite the raging blizzard. Since his house is only a few blocks away, she heads out on foot. As Beth makes her way through the snow-covered streets, she notices something terrifying, a massive hooded figure with curling horns stalking her from the rooftops. Panicked, she cries for help and runs for safety, but the creature leaps between buildings, relentlessly pursuing her. She eventually spots a delivery van and hides underneath it. From her hiding spot, she catches a glimpse of the creature's horrifying cloven hooves as it paces nearby, seemingly toying with her. For a moment, it seems the creature has left, but Beth soon notices a sinister jack-in-the-box left in its wake. Before she can react, the eerie toy springs open, and she is taken, leaving no trace behind. As evening falls and Beth still hasn't returned, Tom and Howard set out to search for her at her boyfriend Derek's house. Armed with 2 guns retrieved from Howard's Hummer, they trek through the blizzard. When they reach Derek's home, they're horrified to find it in ruins. The chimney is shattered, and strange goat-like hoofprints cover the floor. Hearing what sounds like Beth screaming outside, the 2 men rush to find her. Suddenly, Howard is attacked by a creature lurking beneath the snow. It drags him down, biting into his leg, but Tom manages to save him just in time. Shaken and injured, the men retreat back to the house. With the realization that something sinister is stalking them, the family hastily boards up the doors and windows. Tom reassures Sarah that they'll resume the search for Beth when daylight returns. Later that night, the family falls into an uneasy sleep. Howie Jr. wakes up to the sound of chains clinking down the chimney. Drawn to the noise, he discovers a gingerbread cookie dangling from the chain. Innocently, he takes a bite, but the cookie springs to life, snarling and wrapping the chain tightly around him. Howie screams for help as the family rushes to save him. They desperately pull at the chain, but it's too strong. Helpless, they watch in horror as Howie Jr. is dragged up the chimney and disappears. Omi gathers the frightened family and reveals the terrifying truth. They are being tormented by Krampus, an ancient demonic spirit known as the Shadow of St. Nicholas. Unlike the gift-giving saint, Krampus punishes those who lose their Christmas spirit. Omi confesses that she encountered Krampus herself as a child. She recounts how her village, stricken with poverty and bitterness after World War II, became selfish and cold, including her own family. Overwhelmed by their cruelty, a young Omi wished her parents would disappear. That wish summoned Krampus, who dragged her family and the entire village into hell. Omi alone was spared, left behind with a haunting reminder, a bauble inscribed with Krampus's name. For thousands of years, she explains, Krampus has come not to reward, but to punish. Not to give, but to take. Her tale leaves the family shaken, except for Howard, who dismisses it as nonsense and resolves to go after Howie Jr. himself. As Howard ventures into the snow-covered yard, he finds eerie signs of Krampus's handiwork. The air feels heavy, and the shadows seem alive. To his horror, he sees a snowman that eerily resembles Howie Jr. as if the boy has been encased within it. Before Howard can act, several demonic creatures emerge from the darkness, circling him with malicious intent. Realizing the danger is all too real, Howard scrambles back to the house, leaving the family more terrified than ever. In the attic, chaos erupts as the mysterious bag of presents begins shaking violently. The family rushes upstairs only to witness a horrifying scene, a massive snake-like jack-in-the-box monster devouring Jordan. Before they can react, they're ambushed by a group of monstrous toys, including a menacing teddy bear, a vicious robot, and a demonic angel ornament. Though they barely manage to fend off the attack, they succeed in rescuing Stevie. Meanwhile, their dog rushes into the air vents to attack the jack-in-the-box monster. Moments later, the beast crashes through the ceiling, sending the toys into another frenzy. Dorothy grabs the gun, determined to end the nightmare. But before she can fire, a group of terrifying goblin-like elves burst into the house. The elves snatch Dorothy, the baby, and Howard, dragging them away as the family watches in horror. The eerie sound of Krampus landing on the roof sends a wave of dread through the survivors. Realizing they're out of time, the remaining family members decide to make a desperate run for the snowplow to escape. Omi, however, stays behind, determined to confront Krampus herself. Krampus emerges from the chimney, towering and menacing, and opens his sack in front of Omi. From within, monstrous toys spring out, attacking her as the screen fades to black. As the family sprints toward the snowplow, Tom sacrifices himself to hold off the creature lurking beneath the snow, but he is quickly dragged under and taken. Linda and Sarah manage to get Max and Stevie into the snowplow, but they too are seized by the relentless creatures before they can escape. Inside the snowplow, Max and Stevie frantically try to start the vehicle, but it won't budge. Before they can figure out what to do, the elves strike again, tearing Stevie from the snowplow and leaving Max alone. Moments later, Krampus appears in front of Max, towering and imposing. He hands Max a bauble with his name engraved on it, wrapped in a piece of his shredded Santa letter. The chilling gesture makes Max realize that Krampus came because of his loss of Christmas spirit. Desperate to fix his mistake, Max confronts Krampus and begs him to undo everything. He pleads for his family's lives, offering himself in their place. Krampus listens, but instead of mercy, he opens a fiery pit to hell. Max watches in horror as the elves throw Stevie into the pit, her screams echoing in the snowy night. Krampus then grabs Max and dangles him over the pit. Max tearfully apologizes, admitting he only wanted the warm, happy Christmases they used to have. But Krampus remains unmoved. With a cruel grin, he releases Max, sending him plummeting into the fiery abyss, his screams fading as the pit swallows him whole. Max suddenly wakes up in his bed on Christmas morning, startled and confused. Everything feels oddly normal. He looks out his window to see the neighborhood restored to its usual peaceful state, with no sign of the chaos from the night before. Relieved, he rushes downstairs to find his family happily gathered around the Christmas tree, opening presents as if nothing had happened. Believing the terrifying events were just a bad dream, Max starts to relax. However, as he opens one of his gifts, his heart sinks. Inside is the same Krampus bauble he was given the night before. The room falls silent as each family member gazes at the bauble, and a chilling realization washes over them. Their memories of Krampus, the creatures, and the horrors they faced come flooding back. The camera pans out, revealing the family's home encased inside a snow globe, resting on a shelf in Krampus's dark, eerie workshop. The workshop is filled with countless other snow globes, each holding a family trapped in a moment of frozen holiday cheer, forever under the watchful eye of Krampus. If you enjoyed this chilling recap, don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss out on more spine-tingling stories like this one.